I mean, nobody said this was going to be a pleasurable experience.
Oh, the bunny likes the mic. Hello. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time. I think this film is really important, and it touches on topics such as capitalism, social issues, the human quest to find something more to life. For a little background, The Holy Mountain is a 1973... That's what it's called. Kyle, I can't do this.
El Topo.
El Topo. I
El
can't
Topo.
do this.
That's why I was having you read it through first.
I can't read it. It's too long.
Do you want me to do it with you?
You sat on my broken toe at full force.
I didn't mean...
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. The Holy Mountain is a film about...
Okay. For a little background, The Holy Mountain is a 1973 Mexican surrealist fantasy about enlightenment. The film was directed, written, produced, scored, edited, costumed, and set designed by Alejandro Jodorowsky, who also starred in the film. I guess if you want it done right, do it yourself. In 1970, he made a movie called El Topo, which was a huge underground hit and got high praise from John Lennon, and I think he's the funny guy from the Beatles with the weird glasses. So for their next project, he and Yoko Ono fronted the production money. This is that next project. The film opens with two women and an evil Kraptain Krunch who immediately removes all of their hair. Accompanied by my new favorite song, we're then greeted by Jesus representing the tarot card The Fool, who is covered in bugs and pissing himself. He's then befriended by a handless, footless dwarf after being stoned by children. The dwarf represents the Five of Swords. This is important symbolism because... Our next scene is a parade of tourists being entertained by public executions at a festival. A Nazi then offers Jesus $1 to perform at an amphibian rendition of the conquest of Mexico. The frogs represent the Spanish and the lizards being the Aztecs. At the end of the scene, they blow up all the animals and Jesus has his star moment. This is a very important and symbolic scene that will never be revisited again. You know, I've seen this movie several times, and it never fails on how unsettling the movie truly is. Like, they just blew up a bunch of frogs and shit on screen. And that's not even going to be the first time that animals are harmed in the 2-hour duration of this film. I mean, nobody said this was going to be a pleasurable experience. We're 16 minutes and 50 seconds into the film, and our main character is surrounded by hundreds of plaster molds of Jesus being crucified. He responds promptly by attacking the people who made them and going goblin mode on the molds. An old man removes his eyeball to give to a child, and this film had a budget of $750,000. Monkey, maggot Bible, Pope. Jesus wakes the Pope up, to which the Pope is displeased and removes him from the church. Jesus eats the face off the cast, which we can presume is cake because that's the easiest option, and releases it into the sky akin to the movie Up. He notices a crowd gathered around a tall red tower where they exchange food for gold on a giant fish hook, and he takes it upon himself to ride the giant gold hook to the top where he meets the alchemist. Because why not? We're 29 minutes into the film. There's been no dialogue, and now Gandalf is removing a squid from Jesus' neck. The film was actually shown at the 1973 Cannes Film Festival, where Jodorowsky had actually removed 20 minutes of dialogue prior to releasing the film. Anyway, we get our first piece of actual dialogue at this point, and we revisit the place from the opening. And then Jesus shits in a jar. This is an important and symbolic scene. The alchemist takes him in as an apprentice, where we are subject to several more unsettling scenes, accompanied by even more animals. This is the point where the movie actually starts. The alchemist explains that to actually complete his journey that we know nothing about so far, he'll be accompanied by the most powerful thieves alive, industrialists and politicians. First, we meet Fawn, representing Venus, who is an industrialist devoted to the comforts of man and has a deaf, dumb, and blind father that only makes decisions based on his mannequin wife's arousal. He has a harem of wives that started out as employees that he has promoted to secretaries that he only has sex with during business hours on his assembly line. He then reveals the new product line of artificial faces. Then we meet Isla, who represents the planet Mars. Isla also has a harem, but this time of male secretaries. She keeps them in a pit guarded by geese. She manufactures and sells weapons, including a gun shaped like a menorah. Up next is Jupiter, who is a millionaire arts dealer. They do ear drugs and have unsettling car sex that I will now play the sound for. He has an art factory that I can't really show on screen, but he's created this really cool
Will rub its mechanical vagina. The skill of the spectator will determine the machine's ability to reach a climax.
Yeah. The noises in this show are absolutely horrendous. There is... I am speechless. I am fucking... oh my god. Every sound in this film is a completely unwelcome surprise. Next, we meet Saturn, whose customers are children. Saturn is a clown who is in charge of the army. Saturn manufactures war toys and has the government as a client so they can create the right kind of toys to condition children from a young age. This scene also contains, like, borderline child porn, but even worse, it's anti-Peru, which is so much worse. We are so pro-Peru on this channel. I love Peru. Go Peru. Our next planet is Uranus, which includes which includes the first fake animal in this film. He's a financial advisor to the president and also has a snake with a sweater on it. He informs the president that in order to save the economy, they must eliminate 4 million citizens within the next 5 years. The president makes a call to begin the operations of the gas chambers, gas schools, gas universities, gas libraries, gas museums, gas dance halls, and gas whorehouses, etc. Up next is Neptune, the chief of police. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe the creators of this movie had some sort of problem with societal power structures. They cut off a man's balls and make him a police officer. Welcome to the ballroom. He completes the 1,000th pair of testicles to be added to the wall and begins a training regimen of killing civilians that would surely get us demonetized if I showed it on screen. Our final planet is Pluto, who is in the business of architecture. Pluto tells us that the mistake they made with their recent design was adding amenities, and that the optimal design is actually a coffin. This scene includes a cock and ball ice sculpture. They stick a shirtless woman in her new coffin house, where she covers herself with a shower curtain, and we're revealed his new apartment design, and everyone claps because it fucks. At an hour and 16 minutes into the film, we're finally introduced to the plot. Together, the 10 of them, the planets and Jesus, will together go on a journey to find the holy mountain of Lotus Island so they can become immortal. Where we're obviously on the holy mountain of Lotus Island, they will find the 9 immortal masters of immortality, and then we get a glimpse of the best character, the monkey. And in order to do that, they must undergo a series of training rituals. And in order to do that, they must start by merging their consciousness, burning their money, and destroying their notion of self. Jesus steals some of the money and is reluctant to give it up. They all burn their wax figures, and then a man is beaten to death because he smells bad. The next scene contains a lot of bugs and distractingly hard nipples, and I don't want to talk about it. After their discomforting training montage, one of them drowns, and the group has finally reached enlightenment. And then begins the bread scene. They all get on a boat, and then they pull the handless, footless dwarf from Jesus' forehead, and Jesus throws him into the water. It's just an apparition, though. Don't worry. They visit a bar, I guess, and then they go to scale the mountain.
Help me! I can't go one step farther!
You're not afraid of falling. What frightens you is climbing.
Rub your clitoris against the mountain!
You're terrified of success.
Give yourself to the world!
They cut off a guy's fingers for being weak and make their way up the mountain further. Led by a man with a tiger, all of the people on their journey are shown visions of their greatest fears. Horses in holes, being pelted by gold, cow sex, bird people, spiders, and leopard nipples. There's an old lady, and she has leopard nipples. The monkey finally gets his screen time by sending off Jesus to go back to his people, and the rest make their way up to the 9 immortal masters of the Holy Mountain. The big moment. They remove the hoods of the 9 immortal masters of the Holy Mountain, only to reveal that 8 of them were mannequins, and the 9th one was the alchemist the whole time. And everybody laughs. It's all just a good funny joke. And also, that's Jodorowsky. He's the guy who wrote and directed and costumed and everything. It's that fucking guy. I know, all jokes aside. The end of the movie is where it really shines. It's hard to describe, but where the movie really shines is in the last scene. And after you've made your way through the 2-hour duration up to that point, it all comes together. I'm just gonna play it.
Is this the end of our adventure? Nothing has an end. We came in search of the secret of immortality, to be like gods. And here we are, mortals, more human than ever. If we have not obtained immortality, at least we have obtained reality. We began in a fairy tale, and we came to life. But is this life reality? No. It is a film. Zumba camera. We are images, dreams, photographs. We must not stay here, prisoners. We shall break the illusion. This is Maya. Goodbye to the Holy Mountain. Real life awaits us.
It's good. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie. I wanna thank everybody for watching. I wanna thank my wife Allie. She didn't make it through. I guess she's just afraid of the pressure of being a famous YouTuber like me.
The film opens with 2 women and an evil Kraptain Krunch.
Yeah, evil Kraptain Krunch. He did. He looked like Kraptain Krunch.